America, the home of the brave, where the opportunities are at. That's what's being advertised as far as the media, right? Some people also think America is dangerous, so it's split. I am someone who has been to 17 or 18 countries, and I get different perspectives of America based off who I talk to, when I talk to them, and how they get their media. So in today's video, a clip came across my timeline here. And it looks like we have a European couple that has decided to move to America, right? And they give their honest opinion, their breakdown on America so far. So without further ado, I don't keep y'all waiting. We're going to go ahead and start this.
It makes us proud to be future Americans.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes me, I'm so proud of America for people seeing it for finally what it is. I know you don't want to admit it, Europe, but your minds have just been blown. America has been descended upon by 40,000 Scottish fans in
So he is from Scotland, right? Self-proclaimed from Scotland, as you can tell by the accent, right? And he is in America, so he's giving his opinion. Throughout the video, before I started to record, I just went through the little chapters they have, and I see they talk about different areas. So they talk about Grand Theft Auto. Is it really dangerous? What's going on? So I want to go straight to the part about the danger, because I'm curious to what he says about that. Let's see what he says about that. My bad, y'all. Looks like my food's here, but I still want to give y'all this content, so I'm going to have the food wait for a little while. It's going to get a little cold, but it's worth it, right? I'm giving y'all this content. I want to play the part where he says about it being dangerous, so I'm curious to see what he says about that. Because I do think, here's the thing, I've been to Brazil, right? And people were trying to warn me before I went to Brazil. They was like, oh, it's dangerous, they got this going on. It can be dangerous in a lot of places. And at the same time, in America, you may hear gunshots, depending on where you're at, right? You may hear people getting kidnapped, all this type of stuff. So is it really safe? Is it really dangerous?
And also the future of like tourism going to America.
Unreal.
Everybody want to go now.
And it's the media in Europe portrays America as this absolutely insane place where it's just bang bang problems and this and
Danger.
this.
That's funny. So yeah, I have some buddies from Spain, and they sent me this meme where it's like it showed European breakfast versus American breakfast, and what they showed in the American breakfast was a guy holding a gun, a cigarette, and then eating bacon. So it's like funny. That's how some people really think America is, because of the media. Like if you turn on the news, you'll see shootings and kidnappings and all type of stuff, right?
Just to go.
Yeah, and it's not true. Like, we've travelled extensively in the States, and we know that there is no friendlier people in the world. There is no greater degree of hospitality we've ever experienced.
But also not just that, we traveled so many other different countries. We traveled so much in
yeah.
Europe,
Important.
but we still prefer to go to the States.
We still prefer to go to the States, she said, right? And I'll be honest with you, I hear good things about Scotland, especially how they treated some of the people decades ago. And I heard they got some areas named after Nelson Mandela, which I think is interesting. But yeah, I hear very good things about people from Scotland. So it's very interesting to say that they moved here, and it looks like they moved to the south of all places. So I would have never envisioned that to be an ideal place, right? Based off Scottish culture. But hey, you know.
By
For
contrast,
holiday,
exactly.
yeah.
So by contrast, it's the friendliest place in the world I've ever visited. And I think by the last count I had checked that we had done about 80 countries. So I've traveled
80? Did you say 80?
And I think by the last count I had checked that we had done about 80 countries. So we've travelled
80 countries.
I've travelled personally to 83 countries.
And I'm done something similar.
Yeah, something similar. So, you know, we know from perspective across Western Europe, Eastern Europe, that there's nowhere like it. And it blew our minds and took so long for us to adapt, to understand that it wasn't this cold, harsh place like Europe can be. And when we went there, slowly but surely, America has brung out the best
And
in
not
us.
just that, when it comes.
Listen to that. It said he brought out the best of them. Now I know what they're saying, like as far as going to different places and you get different type of inspiration. I felt like when I was in Europe, it brought out a side of me, right? I lived there for 6 months. For people who don't know, I make this type of content. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share button, etc. So I lived in Spain for 6 months, and I actually just checked my analytics on my video where I talked about being black in Spain, and that video is still climbing. I guess it's more like an area or something that people are searching for, because I have certain videos that, you know, they'll have their initial boost, but that one had like it started slow and started to build up. So that video's gonna break 1,000 here anytime soon. But I would say when I was in Spain, it definitely brought out a different side of me, but that's more so because the food is so much cleaner and the vibe was different. Like, it was so relaxed. For me personally, I felt safe in Spain. So the same way they're saying they may feel safe in the States, in Spain, I know it's hard to get firearms, and typically they don't have that many stabbings or bombs and things of that nature. So I felt great, right? I lived with a Spanish family, went to all Spanish school, lived in all Spanish neighborhood, forced to learn Spanish, eat like the locals, play like the locals, learn like the locals. It was a truly magical experience. I recommend anyone to do it if you have the financial ability to do so. And if you don't have the financial ability to do so, you can do how I did, where it was through the school. So I did like a study abroad through my school, and that's how I was able to live in Spain for those 6 months roughly. Some of the best 6 months of my life, truly amazing, don't regret it at all. But please travel, right? If you have the ability to, please travel. So in this video, it looks like they also talked about a melting pot, right? Because some people say, you know, it's a melting pot in the States. Some people say, nah, Canada is. Me personally, I don't consider it a melting pot. And the reason why I say that is because there's different cultures. But for the most part, most cultures, depending on where you're at, but most cultures in most states and cities kind of separate and do their own thing. But I'm curious to see their opinion. They may have something different.
Sure, but it has every culture in the world, because America is this giant melting pot of every culture.
Yeah, and so many countries and food cultures, and that's why it's like...
Yeah, it has different cultures, especially nowadays. There's so many people coming, and then also cities that used to be less developed in the States and more, you could say, ethnocentric, are losing that as times are changing. But I still don't really see people like parlay with each other. But that's just my opinion.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah, it's next level.
Like, we've been walking down the street before, and house after house in neighborhoods in Tennessee, you'll see a USA flag hanging out in the front porch, and then right next to it, across the other side of the house, you'll have an Irish flag. You walk down, then you've got an American flag, and you've got the
Irish in Tennessee?
Fleur de Lis, the New Orleans flag, and then go down, you've got the lion rampant flag, like a Scottish flag. Then you've got the German, the French, the Swiss. We've seen neighbourhoods that have literally decided that they're going to post.
Yeah, I gotta see whether, you know, I've been to Tennessee as a kid, but I never been there as an adult. But when I was there, it's typically only black people and white people, black and white Americans, of course. But from what he's saying they see Swiss flags, they see, wow, Irish flags. I'm like, really? In Tennessee, of all places? So maybe Tennessee has changed since I've been there. I personally have not been to Tennessee in probably over 10, 15 years. It's been a very long time. It's kind of a blur to me, I'll be honest with you. I went on a family trip as a kid, and since then I haven't been back. Never felt the need to, and it didn't do anything special for me when I was there. So I was just like, it's like a one and done situation. But I'm glad that they found peace and joy in it. And I will say, as an American, for all the people who are watching in Europe and you're curious to see how racial relations are in America, I'm someone who has been to probably like a quarter or a fifth of all the states, you know, and I've lived in multiple states, have friends and family members in different areas. And I'm here to tell you the breakdown as far as how it works when it comes to the racial situation. So you have certain cities, states, and counties where the people are a little more together. So you'll see Latino people, black people, white people somewhat hanging out or somewhat doing business together, or at least being cordial or respectful. Because you don't necessarily have to be the best of friends, right? That's not the idea that some people have in mind. But I've seen it where, like Las Vegas, for example. I lived in Las Vegas for years. I can say with confidence, when it comes to most people in Las Vegas, there's not racism like that, right? and everyone, they have an expression that says no one is from Vegas. That's because either you're from somewhere else or your parents are from somewhere else. So if you're somewhere like Vegas, and it's kind of like a new emerging city, like 30 years ago Vegas was super small, but it's exploded over the last few decades. So everyone's still trying to figure Vegas out, which can be an advantage in the sense of it has no cultural identity, so people are trying to figure it out. So I feel like that helps with people getting along racially, where you got somewhere like San Francisco Bay Area, which is, I believe, the third most racially diverse place in the United States, but it's super segregated, super separated. Blacks over here, Vietnamese over here, whites over here, Chinese over here, Japanese, they can kind of go in the middle, right? Korean separated. It's very separated over there. Like, it's crazy. It's so diverse, but maybe it's so diverse and so established that people are kind of off to themselves, you know? So that's kind of how it goes in the States. You have certain areas where people are more together, people are diverse, and then you have areas that are just straight up racist, right? And typically in the South, it's kind of known, unfortunately, for being a little more racist. That's kind of why I was surprised when they were talking about Tennessee, because some people strongly consider Tennessee the South. So when they were talking about that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, cool little video. My food is downstairs, so I do have to get it, so I'm gonna have to wrap this video up short. I'm super hungry, but I got more content coming for y'all very, very soon.